Alright guys, I travel a lot. I'm a big traveler. This job, it really requires it. There are a ton of these product conferences to go to. I've got friends and family in Australia. I used to live in New York. And hopefully this year, I can actually go on a vacation. Anyway, since I just got back from a trip, I thought, what better time to just share my backpack and all the tech that I carry around with me. Now, of course, links to everything that I do talk about today will be below the video. And guys, I really live out of this backpack. For anyone who knows me personally, you'll know that I'm rarely without it. No matter where I am in the world, I just enjoy going to a cool coffee store, sitting up there and just getting some work done. Yes, I really do enjoy working on this job, and I don't mind doing it in my free time, so long as I'm in a cool environment. And to do that, I need the backpack. So, with that said, what is it? It's a Tumi, specifically the Alpha Bravo Kingsville Deluxe. It is, without a doubt, the best purchase I've ever made. Seriously. I got mine in 2016 and it still looks great and has no major issues. That's 9 years. And I brought this thing to Germany, it's been to India, to Colombia, Canada, Mexico. You guys get the point. It really is built like a tank. Seriously. Every zipper still works perfectly. And to my eyes, it still looks stylish and pretty high-end. And on that note, owning something luxurious like this, it does make me feel a little proud carrying it around with me. Now, of course, it's not just how the backpack looks, it's also how functional it is. You see, most backpacks I've tried, they just topple over when they have stuff in them. This one stays upright. It's really quite sturdy. It's also got a wide variety of pockets, which makes it just easy to find what I need. And on those pockets, one cool thing about this backpack is that if you leave the zippers open, they don't really fall out. It's kind of how the pockets are shaped, you see. They all curve in, and since the material is a little rigid, even if the zipper is open, the pocket stays somewhat closed. Now, unfortunately, my specific backpack, it just isn't available anymore, but it's a 29-litre one. So here's two that I found that are super close. You got the Alpha Bravo Search, that's a little smaller, and then there's the Alpha Bravo Nomadic, which is a little larger. I'll link both of them down below, highly recommend it. Alright, next up is my jacket. It's a Canada Goose Cabri hooded jacket, I think that's how I pronounce it. It's a similar situation to the Tumi backpack. My strategy with these material purchases that I own is to own as little as possible, but for the few things that I do buy, to spend a good amount of money to get something nice that I just keep for ages and I feel great wearing it. Now obviously, you don't need to spend big on a Canadian Goose jacket, but I will vouch for its quality. Once again, my one has really lasted the test of time. It still just looks like I bought it yesterday, even though I bought it years ago. And as a luxury item, as I said, I feel kind of special wearing it. And of course, guys, it is functional. It's very warm, yet it's super light and just packs down so tiny that I can easily fit it in my backpack. I take it with me everywhere I go, even in Arizona. Guys, there's nothing worse than being cold, and sometimes even here, it's like boiling hot outside, but inside they're just pumping the air conditioning. It's also just a great jacket to wear on the plane, as it's warm but not too bulky. Alright, laptop time. I currently use two. The Macbook Pro 14 and the Razer Blade 16. Now, I carry at least one of them with me at all times. Guess what? A lot of the times I actually carry both. They both do fit in my backpack. The MacBook Pro 14, I've picked it because it's just reliable. Everything about it works good to great. I don't have to worry about things like its battery running out, and it's powerful enough to edit my videos on. By the way, the config I have is the M4 Pro 14-core version with 24GB of memory and 1TB of storage. That's my favorite config right now. It's good enough for pretty much 99% of what people are going to do on it. Also, its 14.2-inch display, it may not seem like such a large one, but because it's incredibly pixel dense, 254 pixels per inch, you can just see more content on it. Everything looks so sharp that you can just zoom out. Its display is also very bright, so I don't have to worry about reflections, and it does have an SD card reader, which means one less thing to carry around. Now, sometimes I don't bring the MacBook Pro. Instead, I bring the Razer Blade 16. It's a premium-feeling 16-inch gaming laptop that is very slim and light, yet it's still very powerful, at least for gaming. The 2025 model, they actually changed the keyboard and it's now super comfortable to type on. I really like it. There are two main times that I bring the Blade with me, not the MacBook. The first is when I'm going locally to a coffee store and I just want to work off a larger screen. The second is when I'm going somewhere where I like to game. I recently visited a friend in Chicago and I knew I'd be doing a lot of gaming, so obviously I brought the Blade. Now, on the flip side, the reason I don't only use the Blade is it's just unreliable, particularly its battery life. all blades I've tried, they have horrendously bad battery life. Most last around 2 to 3 hours, at least for my real-world use case. So if I'm not certain I'm going to find an outlet where I'm going, I just can't bring the blade. I have to bring the MacBook Pro. In fact, at the conference I was just at, I heard a loud crack when I was using the Blade 16, that is, and it just turned off, black screen. Guys, as I said, it's really unreliable. You have to be very patient if you're going to get a blade. And to be honest, if I hadn't bought one for our reviews, I probably would have bought the Legion 7i if it was my money. It is physically larger, but it's more reliable. I'll link both down below. Most people, I think, should probably buy the Legion. Plus, the Legion, it looks much nicer with my mouse as it's white. I use the Logitech G705 and I'm obsessed by it. A lot of gaming mice you see, they're either too large for my hands or too small. This one is perfect. It's wireless and can be used with either Bluetooth or Logitech's proprietary Lightspeed that uses the included USB receiver. The G705, it lasts forever on battery and it's incredibly lightweight. I absolutely love it. I have it permanently in my backpack. That being said, I don't use it with my MacBook Pro. I find the MacBook's trackpads, they're just good enough that you don't need it. For chargers, I use the UGREEN Nexode 100-watt charger. It's small and compact enough, and it has plenty of charging ports. It also ticks a lot of boxes. It's a 20-volt charger, which is what gaming laptops require, like this one. It has the usual array of fast charging options, and it doesn't fall out of the wall. I used to use their Nexode Pro 100-watt charger, but it just wasn't well balanced. It would fall out of the wall if the outlet wasn't tight enough. This is an issue on planes, by the way. Their outlets, they're just not tight. Just a heads up, UGREEN have sponsored this channel in the past. That's why we have so much UGREEN stuff here. This video, though, it isn't sponsored. We just like their stuff. Now, if you do want me to do a comparison of the best USB chargers, leave a comment down below. I'm actually interested to see, is it worth paying the extra money for something like a UGREEN versus a very generic one? For cables, I travel with one long and one short. It's nice having two different lengths. Obviously, I can adapt. Plus, when I'm at a hotel, I can charge two things at the same time. Again, super obvious. These are braided UGREEN charging cables. Braided, they just work best as they don't get twisted and stuck. Other than these two cables, the only additional one I bring with me is my charging cable for my Garmin watch. Now, on that note, although I don't technically have it in my backpack, a lot of you guys just ask me what watch I use. It's the Garmin Fenix 7. I believe it's the 7S. I've been using Fenix watches for a long time. I absolutely swear by them. Guys, an Apple Watch, it lasts 1 day on battery. This Fenix lasts 11. That is a huge difference. I don't want another thing that I have to constantly charge. The reason the Fenix lasts so long is they've essentially just stripped out all the stuff that most people don't use on the iWatch, but they've left the stuff that people do use, especially fitness enthusiasts like me. When I'm doing CrossFit, I use it to keep track of my heart rate so I don't die. When I'm doing lap swimming, I use it to count my laps. It is so boring swimming laps by yourself. It's just really easy for your mind to wander and just forget to count. The Fenix, it makes lap swimming better. It just makes me focus on my next goal, and of course, it keeps me on track. It also tracks my steps, my calories, I can see the weather on it. As I said, everything I need without the stress of having to constantly charge it. And guess what? It also tells the time. Now, in the front pocket of my backpack, I keep my earphones. I use the Powerbeats Pro 2. I've been a Powerbeats Pro user for years. I've tried many others like, Apple's AirPod Pros, Samsung Galaxy Buds, but I just keep coming back to the Powerbeats Pros. The main reason is that they wrap around my ear. I do a lot of fitness, as I said, and other earbuds, they just fall out, particularly when I'm lifting weights. The update to the Powerbeats Pro 2 from version 1, it was huge. These now have much longer battery life. Seriously, they easily get me through an entire day. They now have active noise cancelling, which obviously very helpful when I'm on a plane. And the case, it is smaller. Don't get me wrong, still a large case, but it's not obnoxiously large as it was before. For my water bottle, I use a Yeti 26 ounce. It just fits perfectly in the side of my backpack and it keeps my water nice and cold. I am a sucker for ice cold water. Alright, next up I'm going to talk about cameras. I go to a lot of conferences, as I've said, and sometimes I'm traveling for a really long time and I just want an option to make a video for you guys if something comes up. Now, for these kind of trips, I bring my Sony a6700 with me. It's a great camera. It's a high-end APS-C, which means it has a smaller sensor than full-frame cameras. But this has the benefit of being more compact and portable, especially the lenses. Now, on the flip side, it's also a noticeable step up from a phone's camera. I pair it with a Sigma 18-50mm f2.8 zoom, which I must admit I don't love. Sony has a 16 to 55mm f2.8 zoom lens, which I really like a lot more. We have several of them in the studio. I'm looking at one right now. Now, the extra reach of the 50mm to 55 doesn't sound like a lot, but it does make a difference, especially at events where you just may be far away and you want to punch in. Same goes at the other end, 16 to 18mm, 16 just wider. Plus the zoom on the Sony lens, it turns the same direction as all our other Sony lenses. The Sigma zoom ring, it turns the opposite way. Now, the reason I've stuck with the Sigma lens is its size and weight. It's just so much lighter than those Sony lenses. That being said, I am tempted to switch back to the Sony. Guys, if you don't enjoy the gear you're using, you just don't use it. Now, I pair the Sony with a Manfrotto carbon fiber tripod. It's somewhat light and it does somewhat pack down small, but it does have an amazing pan and tilt head. Bringing it with me means I can shoot most things very well. I can film talking head videos if I want to interview someone, I can film wide shots to set the scene, and I can film tight shots just to punch in on certain product details. Now, even though I've tried to optimize my Sony setup for weight as much as I can, it's still somewhat cumbersome, especially that tripod. So this year I've added a DJI Pocket Osmo 3. And guys, it has been amazing. Its camera is mounted on a gimbal, so you can do these really cool smooth pan shots. It handles different lighting situations surprisingly well. It can easily switch between portrait or landscape modes, and unlike a phone's camera, it can turn its lens around, so I can always see how I'm framed in its little monitor. Now, you can get a wireless mic for it that connects automatically, which is, again, very useful. I use that mic all the time just to take notes on and to interview people. The DJI's main downside, though, is that it has a single wide lens. But rumour has it a version 4 is coming out with 2 lenses, the wide one and hopefully a tighter one. Now, if that happens, I will definitely upgrade. It would hopefully mean I wouldn't have to bring the Sony quite as often. With that said, I have a lot more videos to make, I really do. So I'm off. As I said, links down below to everything I mentioned today. And as I always say, if you are in the market to buy a laptop, make sure to check out our website, bestlaptop.deals. Over there, we are demystifying laptop shopping. Clear recommendations for each type of laptop buyer. You can even combine use cases together to get a custom recommendation. We also track prices right across retailers so you know where to go to get the best deal, and of course, what is the best time to buy, because that makes a big difference. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.